So here we go. I've got my resin all mixed up and poured into small cups. And here I am putting just some plain white acrylic paint into my resin. I'm going to stir that really well, get that mixed in. With your acrylic paints, be sure to stir it really well. If you don't, you may end up with some streaking and your resin will not set properly and cure properly. You'll have sticky spots. And now I'm going to take my crushed glass and I'm going to form the center of my geode. I like the centers of my geodes to be light. So I'm going to place some of them in there. I'm not going to place them all yet. I'm going to start out with a few. I'm also going to add some of my dark blue Ashland's crushed glass, and I get that at Michael's. I really like this one. It's very, very shiny. And I like that. I like sparkle, as you guys know. And again, I'm not going to completely fill the center yet. I'm just going to add some. Okay, and now I'm going to start with some white resin. That's the resin you saw me mix a couple of minutes ago. And I'm going to pour that over my glass glitter. Now I'm going to push that glass glitter around a little bit. Keep it inside the line, or sort of inside the line. And now I'm going to add some more crushed glass. And the reason I didn't add it all right off the bat was because I didn't want all of it to have the white resin on it. I want some of it to sit in the resin and not have resin on top of it. So now I'm going to add some more. Now I'm adding some smaller pieces. It's important to have different size pieces of crushed glass or whatever texture you choose to use. It's just a little more interesting. If it's all exactly the same size, it doesn't sparkle quite as much, I don't think. Now I'm going to add some more of my Ashland's dark blue crushed glass. And here what I've got is some really fine bits from the bottom of the container. It's out of my crushed glass, but when you crush glass you'll always get little tiny pieces. And I sort these out from the rest so that I have those and I can use them like glass glitter, because basically that's what they are. They add a lot of shine to the piece. And I also want to add some of my favorite white holographic glitter. I really like this glitter. I get it at Michael's. It is the Recollections brand. And I'm sprinkling that on. I don't want to try to dump it on. It'll end up with way too much. Now I'm going to work on this corner, and I'm going to repeat the same process that I did the first time. Now you can see I'm putting some glitter into another cup. I'm dividing it off. And there is my mica gloss ink in blue, and this is just a beautiful blue, you guys. I'm going to put a few drops in there. And you'll see that this mixes almost immediately. It's just really a nice product to use with the resin. And to that, I'm going to add some dark blue glitters. There's one in a navy. And guys, I honestly don't remember where I got those little pots of glitter. I've had them forever. And you can see it's just a beautiful ultra fine glitter. I wish I could remember where I got those so I could get some more. And I'm actually going to set that glitter aside for right now. I want it to thicken up. So I've got my opaque white that I mixed earlier with the acrylic paint. I'm going to add some more resin to that. Going to add a little bit more paint to it. I don't want you to be able to see through this, so the acrylic paint makes a nice opaque color. And you can see there I'm checking my color to make sure it's mixed well. And I'm going to start by working on this large white area. And guys, this is going to be my kind of my signature style geode with the very defined divisions in color. And you'll see how I achieve that. And here I'm just using a popsicle stick to move my resin around a little bit and get it where I would like it to be. You can see I'm pushing it right up against my tape barrier. I got a little too far outside the line there, you guys, and we all know resin goes where resin has been. So I wanted to be sure and wipe that off well before I continued. Now I'm applying a little heat with my little torch, get those air bubbles out. Now again, I'm going to apply that same opaque white on the other side. And this is going to be my negative space where my two spots of interest kind of meet. And that's why I chose to use the opaque white. I don't need anything shiny or blingy in the negative space. I want it to be neutral. And here I've actually got a skewer to do this fine detail in that point with. And I'm getting low on my opaque white, so I'm going to add some resin from another cup, some clear resin, and mix up a little more. And I tend to do this, guys. I don't like to mix large quantities. I'd rather remix than end up with wasted resin. Now I'm going to pour this large area in the opaque white. This isn't blingy or shiny, it's just a nice opaque color. And it's important to have colors in your geodes that are more plain, like this white. This white doesn't have any mica to it, doesn't have any glitter in it, it's just a plain white opaque. And I'm going to do part of this large area with this, and that's important so that you have some contrast in texture to your geodes. Contrast in color is important, but contrast in texture is also an important part of your geode creations. So I'm not going to pour this whole thing full of the opaque. I'm actually going to set that opaque white aside, and now I'm going to mix up some mica white. And there again, I've got my white mica gloss. It's actually called Pearl, but it is a bright white color. And I'm going to put a little bit into my resin. Stir it up well, make sure I get it blended in, and it doesn't take much with this liquid mica ink. You can see how nice and shiny that is. And I'm going to pour this right up against that opaque. It's a nice break at the edge there. It will blend together a little bit on its own. Not too much, but a little. Makes for a nice transition. And again, it makes a nice contrast in texture. And I'm adding some white glitter here. And I want to get this nice and thick. I want lots of glitter in my resin to thicken it up. And I'm going to add a little white mica powder to it as well. And I'm going to stir that up. Get that glitter stirred in there. And you can see how thick that is. And this corner's been sitting for a while. I'm going to take this white glitter and I'm going to fill in, not right up against my crushed glass, but in the same area. I'm going to turn my canvas around and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm also going to do a glitter line down the center of my two white textures, right between that opaque white and the pearl white, or the mica white. And I want to do this while my resin is still wet so that it will blend a little bit and bleed a little bit into each of those two whites. It just makes for a nice effect. And you can see here that my resin has moved on me. It has started to cross into the other lines that I had designated for other colors, and that's okay, guys. Resin has a mind of its own sometimes. That's just the way it is. I'll just adjust those lines to go with the new shape of the resin. And there's my blue glitter that I mixed up earlier. And it's that beautiful dark blue, and I'm going to put that right along the very edge of my rocks, or my crushed glass rather. And you can see I'm just using a very little bit of it. It will blend out into the white glitter that's right next to it. And I like that. That's okay. I don't mind that. Now I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to add a little bit more dark blue on this side. It's a little wider. And you can see, guys, that resin is really thick with that glitter in it. I let it set over to the side and thicken up. And I like that. It makes it easy to control your glitter that way. And I'm also going to use this glitter for some accents. So you can see here, I'm putting it, and these are going to look like some kind of odd shapes at the moment. It will all come together in the end. And again, this is kind of my signature style. I like my colors to be very distinctly separate. I like some blending, but I like some of it to be just separated, and a very obvious separation. Now I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to do this side. And again, I won't put anything up next to this dark blue glitter until after it's cured, because I want to keep it completely separate. You can see there how thick my glitter is getting, my resin is getting. It's really sticking to my popsicle stick. And that helps it stand up off of the canvas better, which I like. I like that nice high domed glitter. And that's going to be it for this step of this geode, guys. I'm going to finish up this glitter. And it will go into my drying station where it will cure overnight, and I will come back in the morning and start again with the next layer. Typically my geodes of this style will take anywhere from 4 to 9 or 10 layers by the time they're done, and I really don't mind that. I like to have my glitter just a certain way. I like the really high domes that stand up from the rest of it. So tomorrow we will pick up where we left off with this. And you can see I'm still putting that glitter on, and it just gets thicker by the minute, but that's okay. That's the way I like it. That's what gives it the shape that I really like to see on my geodes. And guys, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. It will really help me out. And don't forget to hit the bell so that you get notified when I upload new videos. I've got lots of videos coming. I've been pouring a lot of resin and making a lot of videos. There's just a whole lot of editing to do. So thanks for watching, and we will get on with the next part in the next video.